What is amazing about the scene of Israel's idolatry here described is the total difference between the attitude of the people when God spoke from heaven and their attitude perhaps 2 months later. There had been the most amazing shift. In Exodus 20, when they had a unique revelation from God, such as no other nation has ever had, their response was awe, fear, reverence. In Exodus 20, 18 through 21, after God had pronounced the 10 commandments from the mountain, now all the people witnessed the thunderings, the lightning flashes, the sound of the trumpet, and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they trembled and stood afar off. Then they said to Moses, "You speak with us, and we will hear. But let not God speak with us, lest we die." And Moses said to the people, "Do not fear, for God has come to test you, that his fear may be before you, so that you may not sin." So the people stood afar off, but Moses drew near the thick darkness where God was. They were so impressed by the holiness and the majesty of God that they said, "Moses, we can't listen to that voice anymore. Will you please hear for us, and we'll listen to what you say to us?" Yet in less than 2 months, they had come from that attitude to the place where they wanted a golden calf to worship, where they saw not God, but Moses as the person who had brought them out of Egypt. Paul takes this up in the New Testament in 1 Corinthians 10, verses 5 through 7. Speaking about the experiences of Israel when they came out of Egypt, Paul says, "But with most of them God was not well pleased, for their bodies were scattered in the wilderness. Now these things became our examples, to the intent that we should not lust after evil things, as they also lusted. And do not become idolaters, as were some of them. As it is written, the people sat down to eat and drink, and rose up to play." What had happened? Their physical needs had been met. Their stomachs were full, their bodies were warmly clothed. So, what next? Well, let's have a little excitement. Let's play. I'm so concerned when worship becomes play. And today, much of it is. Worship has nothing to do with entertainment. Entertainment says, excite me, thrill me, satisfy me. That's all for the benefit of the soul. The spirit is excluded. My second example of the transition from the spiritual to the soulish to the demonic is even more frightening. You'll find it in Leviticus 9:23 through chapter 10, verse 2. This is a glorious moment. The people had done everything that God required in the form of sacrifices. And when their obedience was complete, God sent his glory and burned up the sacrifice on the altar. And Moses and Aaron went into the tabernacle of meeting and came out and blessed the people. Then the glory of the Lord appeared to all the people, and fire came out from before the Lord and consumed the burnt offering and the fat on the altar. When all the people saw it, they shouted and fell on their faces. A manifest demonstration of God's glory and a fire that actually consumed the sacrifice on the altar. Now the next 2 verses, the first 2 verses of the next chapter, are some of the most tragic in the Bible. Then Nadab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron, and Nadab was the eldest son. He was scheduled to become high priest in place of Aaron. Nadab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron, each took his censer and put fire in it, put incense on it, and offered profane fire before the Lord, which he had not commanded them. So fire went out from the Lord and devoured them, and they died before the Lord. The same fire that consumed the sacrifice burned up the worshippers. What is profane fire? I understand it's fire that is not taken from the altar that God has commanded. What is profane fire in our experience? I would say it's worship in any spirit other than the Holy Spirit. And the penalty was death. We read in Numbers 16, 1 through 35, about an insurrection against Moses in the wilderness, when some of the leaders took 250 censers, filled them with fire, and said, We're just as good as Aaron. We've got as much right to be priests as he has. And Moses said, all right, we'll try this out. He told them to assemble with their censers with fire in them. Then the fire of the Lord came out and consumed 250 men. The lesson for me is this. You're responsible for what is in your censer. You're responsible for the spirit in which you approach God. I'm not saying that you'll be consumed with fire, but God's judgments are often exemplary. In other words, God did not judge every city where there was homosexuality, as he judged Sodom and Gomorrah. But his judgment on Sodom and Gomorrah was exemplary. It showed forever God's estimate of homosexuality.